So what are some of the challenges that bridge fabricators might be seeing when spraying zinc?
Well, the bridge fabricators have a pretty big job, actually. They're making these girders for the bridges. And the difference between a girder and an I-beam, a lot of people get that confused. An I-beam is rolled off a rolling mill in a final shape. It looks like an eye when you look at it on the end. A girder is fabricated. So the bridge fabricators take the plate and they actually cut the sections out that'll be the flange, which is the top and bottom, and the web, which is the piece that's in between that holds the flange together. So it's kind of like the vertical part of the eye is the web. So they're fabricating these very large girders that are as high as 10, 12 foot tall by 130 foot long. And they have to spray these with zinc, and they have to do it in less than 8 hours. So some of the challenges they're having is they have some pretty stringent D.O.T. requirements. It's written specifications on achieving the right material properties with the zinc. It has to have certain properties to be qualified and passed by the D.O.T. The D.O.T. also has a restriction on them and how much time they have to spray the zinc after they do the grit blasting. So they fabricate it by welding it together. Once it's welded, they have to grit blast it to get rid of all the scale. And then there's a time limit of when they have to get this girder sprayed before they have to stop. So that's a big challenge for them. Another big challenge is finding qualified spray operators. The D.O.T. requires some pretty stringent requirements for the training of the operators. It's kind of this catch-22. They say they have to have an operator with 2 years of experience. Well, how do you have 2 years of experience if you're not hired? Where do you find this instant, well of people with 2 years experience spraying these girders? It's a very difficult thing to challenge people on. So if you train a robot, it's going to have its 2 years of experience all the time. So another big challenge that the fabricators have is their delivery schedules. If they have any problem with their supply chain or any problem with the welding or anything else, they can get behind schedule quickly. And to top it off, the last step is spraying the zinc and the paint. And if you don't have enough operators or you don't have enough time to get it done, you're now behind on the delivery schedule. What happens if you're behind the delivery schedule? Cost overruns in that you can get fined for delivering the girder late. Also, if you underestimate what your cost is going to be to hire people to do this, you'll have a cost overrun because of that. I think some companies are losing opportunities because they don't even know how to estimate what it's going to cost to spray these girders. So they have to kind of take a guess at it. And if they're too high, they won't get the job. If they're too low, they're going to lose money. So there's also an industrial-wide capacity problem. It's just not just the buildings, it's the people also, just the trained operators. So they have a shortage of operators, and they have a shortage of actual large enough buildings to do this spraying. So they're faced with quite a few large challenges in the girder spraying industry. Okay, so you can imagine that these bridge fabricators have this huge challenge of getting this all done. So what's happening right now, there's quite a few companies looking at how do we automate this. The recognition for the automation of spraying zinc on the girders is just at a full boil right now. They're trying to figure out how to do it. The problem is going to be there's going to be one or two companies that are leading the pack and getting that done. Once they're in place and they're spraying these girders, they are going to set the standard for how girders are to be sprayed. And it's eventually get to the point that you won't be able to manually spray these girders because you won't be able to meet the requirements. The guys who get to the automation first of all, will recoup their investment very quickly because they're going to be having all the savings on the manpower. They're going to probably have extra capacity and they can start spraying the other guys. So they might actually be spraying their competition's girders just so they can get the job done. I just pity the guy that's got to go to the guy with the automation and pay that bill. It's going to be expensive for him. So the race to automation, it's in full tilt right now. And there's a lot of people out there trying to figure out how to do it. And you know what? I love talking about the Pivot Arc and thermal spray. You want to talk more about it? Give us a call, 724-229-5791. Drop me an email, bob@thermalspraydepot.com. Love to talk to you about it. Fun topic. Give us a call.